along the sea. You know, the world is just a picture of what's inside you and me. I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa, I am, I am. I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa, I am, I am. I am, I am. What I'm here for, I wonder. What am I in this world to do? What I'm here for is one thing. One thing I know is true. I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa, I am, I am. I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa, I am, I am. Wonder of life in the air and on the land and in the sea. It's a precious gift to me in a world that's torn by war and strife. All we can do is claim love as our reality. I tell you, if you ask me, what am I in this world to do? I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa, I am, I am. I live for the spirit I am. I live for the spirit I am. Whoa, whoa. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. Talking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Walking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Let's mix it with spirit, yeah. I am, I am. Brothers and sisters loving one another. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am. Whoa, let's mix it with spirit. I am, I am, I am. Walking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Let's mix it with spirit. I am, I am, I am. Talking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Let's mix it with spirit, yeah. I am, I am, I am. Talking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am, I am, I am. Walking with the spirit. I am, I am, I am. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Paul and Jim. Walking with the Spirit, yes. Well, welcome you all. I see some new faces and I see some old friends, not old faces. I caught myself. And you are at the Hilltop Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm Liz. I'm your practitioner of service this morning. And welcome. And welcome, welcome, and thank you for that beautiful, energetic song. I love that song. Thank you. And you're in a treat. You are in a treat for us, very special service with my dear friend and fellow practitioner, Craig Lozzi. Yay! And Craig has a special service of meditation, of poetry, of prayer. It's all interwoven for our spiritual uplifting and our heart. And I've heard it before. He has his own poetry and the poetry of special poets from different centuries. I know you'll enjoy it. It's very, very special, accompanied by great music. So those of you that have come to support him that are new to Hilltop, we welcome you. And we are a community that opens its doors for all paths to the divine. Whatever that is, you are welcome here. And I'm so happy to be here this morning and sharing the platform with Craig and with Jim and Paul. And so I would like to open the service with prayer. So as you're just getting comfortable in your seat, getting settled, I just invite you to go within and know that as we breathe and pray together and hear songs and poetry and everything that is in store for us this morning, that is all for one purpose. That purpose is to open up our hearts, our soul, and our minds to something much greater than ourselves, to lift us up from the day-to-day world that we live in, filled with beauty and chaos, and life is messy in many ways. And we come here to get centered, to find an interior way of lifting ourselves up in our souls to be a higher and better person so that we can integrate ourselves into this world of beauty as well as chaos and hold a light that emanates from inside, a light that has a spirit and energy that propels us into kindness, into love, into overcoming fear and everything else that's going on, that we may be better citizens of this world and this universe and walk our talk and feel a difference in our own lives. That's why I come here, and that's why I believe we all do in some ways, to be lifted up, to give us a sense of love, a sense of connection, not only with each other, but with spirit. Something bigger and greater than ourselves that really enters ourselves and our heart and our mind and our soul, that really resides within all of us, that energy, that beautiful light. Let it shine, let it grow, and that's why we're here. So with that blessing and knowing that we're all here for a beautiful purpose of connection with our community, with God, I welcome you all and know that you will be uplifted. And it is a setting an intention. And as I release these words to that infinite, universal mind of God, of spirit, of all that there is, collectively we say together, and so it is.
So it is. So it is.
And the format of today is going to be a little different in that Craig is going to be leading us into, as I say, meditation through his work and his prayers. And it's so beautiful. I know you're going to enjoy it. So the reading to support that has been selected is from Emerson, one of the great New Thought philosophers and great thinkers. And it is germane to what we're going to be feeling and seeing today. And it goes like this. Each man has his own vocation. The talent is the call. There is one direction in which all space is open to him. He has faculties silently inviting him thither to endless exertion. He is like a ship in a river. He runs against obstructions on every side but one. On that side, all obstruction is taken away, and he sweeps serenely over a deepening channel into an infinite sea. Every man has this call of the power to do something unique and no man has any other call. And so it is.
So it is. All right. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Paul and Jim, and happy Sunday and welcome. I'm really honored and excited and absolutely delighted to be here with you. How many are here at one of my poetry services for the first time? Just kind of raise your hand. Okay. Well, for you, and actually for me, and for all of us, just a little parameter of how this is going to work. One of my favorite poets hails from 13th century Persia. His name was Jalaluddin Muhammad Balkhi, but we know him here in the West as Rumi. And what he advises us is to listen to these poems with what he called the ear of the heart. He said, listen for presences inside of poems. Let them take you where they will. Follow those private hints and never leave the premises. Most faith traditions consider their sacred texts, and I'm not talking about a text message, I'm talking about something like the Bible, the Quran, as the living word. And I think that's what Rumi is saying here. When we attune ourselves through the portal of the heart to the message, they become alive in us. And it's no mistake that you are here today, because I believe that there is a poem or a few or a line or a metaphor that somehow will enter into your heart and have resonance and perhaps inspire you. So the word, a millennia ago comes alive again today. And so to do so, yes, we listen with that ear of our heart, and that means for a little while we just suspend the mind. This beautiful, amazing, intelligent tool that helps us navigate daily through life. It has its limitations. It looks things very rationally and in a linear fashion, and we're inviting into something that's beyond the mind, something where the mind is just beyond comprehension. I will have for you all of these poems in a little document, so you can spend time with them later if you like, and maybe analyze them, maybe look at the words more deeply. But I'm going to give that to you later, because if I gave it to you now, your attention will be out on the paper. And so the invitation then is to just perhaps even close your eyes during these poems and just see what you feel and trust what you feel. There will be, after each poem, a little space, so you can just let it wash over you and evoke whatever is meant for you to receive. So those are the parameters as far as how to, and then what Liz presented to us in the reading is the parameters of this whole month of September. As a community, we explore this idea of the great work of our life. And that song, Spirit I Am, somehow to me just zeroes in on that somehow we're here to embody Spirit. And that reading from Emerson is so eloquent and powerful. It's basically, to me, it's saying that we are here for a unique and, in my opinion, a sacred purpose. Come on in. And yet, when I hear those words for Emerson, it's a bit daunting to me. It's a little challenging, because I know in my own life, as my path has unfolded, there were times when I had no clue. And that may be the case for many of us. I know absolutely there are those people who are just born with a passion and fire, and like from birth, they proceed through life in that manner. And I'm sure there's people like that here. But for some of us, the path may be more indirect. Thomas Merton, who was a 20th century Trappist monk and a theologian and a scholar, he said this: many of us spend our whole lives climbing the ladder of success, only to find that when we're at the top, the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. So how do we embody what is ours, what is our unique expression, which is authentic, really above the din and distraction of our culture, our family, our peers, who all have perhaps different expectations of who we should be and what we should do. And I think really, perhaps a good approach is to admit, perhaps, if we're not one of those people that's just on fire with purpose from birth, that we don't know. And to wonder and to be open to perhaps receiving insight. So this first poem beautifully addresses that. It's from Rumi, and it's called Who Says Words with My Mouth? Oh, and I see I have all my poems mixed up here, so hang on one second. It goes like this. All day long I think about it. Then at night I say it. Where did I come from? And what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere, I am sure of that. And I intend to end up there. This drunkenness began in some other tavern. And when I get back around to that place, I will be completely sober. Meanwhile, I'm like some bird from another continent sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off, but who is that now in my ear? Who hears my voice? Who says words with my mouth? Who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of an answer, I could break out of this jail for drunks. I didn't come here of my own accord, and I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home. So just let yourself be with that for a moment. One thing I hear in that poem is this sense of separation from source, wherever it was he came from. And I hear this longing somehow to go back home. And I think we all feel that. Sometimes it's diverted into addiction and all kinds of distractions, but when we take that longing inside, we can connect, as Liz was saying, to something much greater than ourselves. And in that way, in this world of form, this formless being we call God can guide us. So these next poems explore that. The first one is also from Rumi. It's called Some Kiss. There is some kiss we want with our whole lives. The touch of spirit on the body. Seawater begs the pearl to break its shell, and the lily, how passionately it needs some wild darling. At night, I open the window and ask the moon to come and press her face to mine. Breathe into me. Close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't come through the door, only the window. This next poem is from a 15th century Indian saint, mystic poet by the name of Kabir. It's called Hope for the Guest While You Are Alive. The guest in that tradition, just another name for God, also the ecstatic, the same. And it comes a little harder and more intent than Rumi's kiss. Friend, hope for the guest while you are alive. Jump into experience while you are alive. Think and think while you are alive. What you call salvation belongs to the time before death. If you don't cut your ropes now while you're alive, do you think ghosts will do it after? The whole idea that the soul unites with the ecstatic just because the body's rotten, that's all fallacy. What is found now is found then. If you find nothing now, you will simply end up with an apartment in the city of death. If you make love with the divine now, in the next life, you will wear the face of satisfied desire. So plunge into the truth. Find the teacher. Believe in the great sound. Kabir says this: when searching for the guest, it is the intensity of the longing that does all the work. Look at me, and you will see a slave to that intensity. This next poem is also from Rumi. As if that divine one is speaking directly to us. When you're with everyone but me, you're with no one. When you're with no one but me, you're with everyone. Instead of being with everyone, be everyone. When you become that many, you are nothing. Empty. This next one comes from perhaps 400 BC China, attributed to Lao Tzu from Tao Te Ching. And it's called verse 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the whole inside that makes the wagon move. We form clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. So when we empty ourselves, as Rumi's suggestion, or as Lao Tzu is describing, we now become available for something greater, for the inflow of spirit. And this, as I've mentioned before, this goes against the tide of our culture and even our own habits and inclinations. So this next poem describes this process. It's called A Secret to Grasp, and it's also from Rumi. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, that I need flows to me, and without pain. From this I understand that that what I want also wants me, is looking for me, and attracting me. There is a great secret here for anyone who can grasp it. C.S. Lewis was a 20th century British writer, theologian, scholar. He wrote this. It's kind of our dilemma. The moment we wake up each morning, all of our wishes and hopes from the day rush at us like wild animals. The first job each morning consists in shoving it all back, listening to that other voice, opening up to that other, larger, stronger, quieter life. He's describing spiritual practice where we quiet down all the impulses and we open up ourselves to something larger. And so this obviously, as we hook up with something that is infinite intelligence, will guide us to our vocation and our talents, but also perhaps is the greatest work of our life, which is to remember and to live in the consciousness that we are spiritual beings. So these next few poems describe this idea of developing spiritual practice. First one is from Rumi. And he's actually describing a practice he developed that's still used today by what's called the Mevlani Order of Whirling Dervishes, a group that he established. And it's called Sama. Sama means listening. And all traditions employ these practices often in the early hours of the morning when you might hear the sound of a rooster. So, listening. What is the deep listening? Sama is a message from the secret ones inside the heart. A letter. The branches of your intelligence grow new leaves in the wind of this listening. The body reaches a peace. Rooster sound comes, reminding you of your love for dawn. The reed flute and the singer's lips, the knack of how spirit breathes into us, becomes as simple and ordinary as eating and drinking. The dead rise with the pleasure of listening. If someone doesn't hear a trumpet melody, sprinkle dirt on his head and declare him dead. Listen and feel the pleasure of your separation, the unsayable absence. There is a moon inside of every human being. Learn to be companions with it. Spend more of your life with this listening. As brightness is to time, so too are you to the one who speaks to that great ear in your chest. I should sell my tongue and buy 1,000 ears when that one steps near and begins to speak. This next one's also from Rumi, imploring us to remember why we're here. It's called Gamble Everything for Love. Gamble everything for love if you are a true human being. If not, leave this gathering. Half-heartedness doesn't reach into majesty. You set out to find God, but keep stopping for long periods at mean-spirited roadhouses. Don't wait any longer. Leave and dive into the ocean. Let the sea become you, absent, silent, walking an empty road. All praise. This next poem is really beautiful. It's also Rumi, and he's using the metaphor of romance, a lover and a beloved, really to describe our relationship with the divine. And definitely it's hinting that to get there, we need to have a spiritual practice. So it's called Sunrise Rumi. In the early morning hour, just before dawn, lover and beloved wake and take a drink of water. She says, "Do you love me or yourself more? Really, tell the absolute truth." He says, "There is nothing left of me. I'm like a ruby held up to the sunrise. Is it still a stone or just a world of redness? It has no resistance to sunlight." This is how Halaj said, "I am God," and told the truth. The ruby and the sunrise are one. Be courageous and discipline yourself. Completely become both hearing and ear, and wear this sun ruby as an earring. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit yourself to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking. And eventually, the joy inside will open a window and look out to see who's there. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, who was a German, he was a German everything. He was a scientist, a statesman, a novelist, a poet. He wrote something that really speaks to this. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence acts too. All sorts of things occur that would never otherwise have occurred to help one. Unforeseen incidents, meetings, material support, which no man could have imagined would come his way. Just speaking to this idea, when we commit to a spiritual practice, guidance will come, and what we are seeking will seek us. In fact, we will discover what we are seeking already has resonance in our being, just awaiting our discovery. So these next poems speak to that. The first one is from a 16th century Spanish priest, St. John the Cross. And it's called Development. Once I said to God, "How do you teach us?" And he replied, "If you were playing chess with someone who had infinite power and infinite knowledge, and who wanted to make you a master of the game, where would all the chess pieces be at any given moment? Indeed, not only where he wanted them to be, but where each would be best for your development. And that is every situation of one's life." Here's another one by Rumi, using the metaphor of an ant. It's called The Road Home. An ant hurries along a threshing floor with its grain of wheat, moving between huge stacks of wheat, not knowing the abundance all around. It thinks its one grain is all there is to love. So we too choose a tiny seed to be devoted to this body. One path, one teacher. Look farther and wider. The essence inside of every human being can see. And what that essence eye sees, the being becomes. Solomon, Saturn. The ocean pours through a jar, and you might say it swims inside the fish. This mystery gives peace to your longing and makes the road home. Home. Here's another one for Kabir. It's called, Are You Looking for Me? Of course, it's the divine talking to us, okay? Are you looking for me? I'm in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You won't find me in the stupas, not in the Indian shrine rooms, not in cathedrals or temples, not in kirtans nor masses, not in legs winding around your neck, nor in eating nothing but vegetables. I tried that. Still do. When you really look for me, you shall see me in an instant. You shall find me in the smallest house of time. Kabir says this, student, tell me, what is God? He is the breath inside the breath. And so our path unfolds in its own unique and beautiful and sacred way. And this poem just reminds me of that. And really of our human situation. It's also Rumi, and it's called 100 Ways to Kneel and Kiss the Ground. Today, like every other day, we wake up lonely and frightened. And don't open the door to the study. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. And perhaps, as we find our way, our life might look something like this next verse, 10, also from the Tao Te Ching. Can you coax your mind from its wanderings and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body be as supple as a newborn child? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you attend to the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind until you understand everything? Giving birth and nourishing, acting without expectation, having without possessing, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. And then finally, a poem I wrote early on, probably 15 years ago when I began this journey of spiritual practice as a practitioner of studying this philosophy we call the spirit, of mind and spirit. And it's called the body of spirit. Just describing my own path. It's funny, sometimes I have the hardest time remembering my poems. Or even finding it. Okay, here we go. Okay. A babe was I, naked, frail, bare. My mother arms, her tender breasts, were all my pleasure there. Her body, the universe from which I was born. Then as a lad, I met the Eucharist, the body of the Lord, plain, tasteless, hollow, entirely without adorn, chew, consume, swallow. Did I of him that distant, hallowed morn. Then another body I explored. Across the paths of earth, I trekked and hiked, swam and biked, and frolicked breadth and girth. I climbed her trees, her mountaintops. I slept beneath her starry skies. The body of the planet, a feast before my eyes. And then the body of the erudite, an endless maze of book, which each new thought, philosophy, another road I took. My mind engorged was overfull, my soul still pang, and felt the pull from a hunger for something more than lay upon that learned shore. Into the body of spirit, good fortune had me delivered. I meditated on the Lord until my spirit quivered. Now I look upon this life with awe and wondrous heart, and feel the unity of the all within each separate part. Thank you.
That was beautiful. And thank you guys for accompanying him. So as we come to a different part of our service, we call it conscious giving. I'm just taking in all of the beauty we've just heard and felt, and how much it's touched my soul, and I think all of us. And moving into another gratitude section, I choose to give, and if you choose to give today of your own finances, and there are many ways in which we can give, our time, our energy, bringing food, attending classes. This is such a beautiful place where we come together, not only on Sunday, but through our classes, through meditation service, and many things that we offer. And in order to do that, to keep the lights on and to keep this place functioning, we choose to give and honor that. So if you this morning would like to give, hold your gift to your heart and just know that it goes out and in multitudes and expands the energy, because money is energy. And knowing that, we do that freely and with an open heart, and so it is.
We
Okay, so the announcements. I know that Wednesday, Paul, our other practitioner on the platform, has a prayer and meditation at 1 o'clock here at Hilltop. And I know that there is a class coming up for our other practitioner that lives in Oregon, and it's going to be online. And it's going to be about visioning. And it will be in the newsletter. It is... It's a wonderful process in which you can manifest many things in your life by using prayer and meditation as a method to enter that with the guidance of Spirit. So please check it out. It's a wonderful methodology of really finding answers in your life. And probably one of the most exciting things coming up is our Reverend Guy is coming back next Sunday after a 2-month sabbatical. And I've spoken with him, and he's very excited to see all of you and to re-enter with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of plans for our future and growth. And it's also, today actually is his birthday, his 70th, but we're going to be celebrating it next Sunday. So please come and join us and tell others so that, you know, we can celebrate our dear Reverend Guy. I'm very, very excited. We've missed him, and we've had some great speakers and, you know, ministers in his absence, but we welcome him back to his home and our home together. And I'm not sure, is there any other announcements? I think oh, in your class, I'm sorry, the Tao, Jim has every Sunday at 9 o'clock here, and you can drop in. You don't have to have come before. He welcomes that, and he's been doing that for some time. And the Tao is a really interesting understanding of a way to live a life, too. So if you don't know anything about it and you're curious, please join the class. And I will hold a prayer circle right after service. And for those that are new to our center, please join us in some food that is on the table outside. Get to know us, get to feel comfortable, and hopefully you'll come back. So those that want to enter the prayer circle, I'll do it after you've had a chance to grab a cup of coffee and grab something to eat. And please join me in the Emerson room. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Greg.
Hey, thanks, Liz. Thank you for coming. Wow, it touches my heart to see you here. And I will have these documents that have all the poems. If you want them, I'll probably just hold them as you exit. If you want one, I'll give you one. Just going to end with a prayer. So how do we pray? We say thanks. We just look at our lives as a blessing. This experience of being human, wow. With all of its ups and downs, there is something emerging in our lives. Something that is beautiful. Something that is sacred. Something that is unique and authentic to each of us. For we are all individualized expressions of one life. And so I'm just knowing today there has been some inspiration, some awakening, some truth, some good flowing to each of us here, whether it's in person or someone watching this virtually. And I'm knowing it's like a contagion that we take it into the vineyards and fields of our life, and it just infects others with our good, with our spirit, with our love, with our beauty. And so for all of this, I give thanks. I declare it so, and so it is.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This magical, this magical, this magical day. This magical, this magical, this magical day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.